Hi, I'm Noah. I'm a tarot reader. This is going to be it's just a general tarot reading for you. What is a message from Spirit that needs to find you at this time that you need to hear? Three of Pentacles. Collaboration, working with other people, unity in your work, divine union in your work. High Priestess. Yeah, okay, so Spirit is bringing people in to work with you, to collaborate with you. I'm also feeling like people are like, people on the spiritual plane are really watching you right now, watching you kind of do what you do. I'm being drawn to like this figure on the Three of Pentacles that's like above. You know, he's like above and talking, and then these two are like with the plans and they're just kind of watching. And I feel like you're at a point where you are, you know, working on building your life, working on taking action that actually does fulfill you. I feel like you're taking, I'm being drawn to like a lot of stillness. You're taking the time to really reflect and then like choosing to build things, structure in your own life and also like in your work life that really does serve you. You're being very, very particular about what you're spending your energy on. And because of that, spiritually, like people are coming in to help you. Your spirit guides are here. You have two spirit guides who are coming in, who are like watching you right now, listening to you. I feel like they've been in this energy of just like listening to you. I feel like you've been talking. You could have been talking a lot to spirit right now, doing a lot of shadow work, maybe saying a lot of prayers, and right now your spirit guides are just listening. They're just watching because they're trying to see like what you're going to do in this period of your life. What will you pursue? What are you building? Let's see. I pull the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. I feel like you're also like putting down things, putting down work that doesn't like serve you anymore. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so you're moving on to this new chapter of your life where sorry, I'm a little kind of all over the place. During this period of your life, you are putting down the work, the obligations, the roles that don't serve you anymore, that you don't want to fulfill, right? The things that are draining you, the things that feel like they take a lot of time, right? Where you are like watching the clock. Where you're like, oh my God, this is so boring. Only 15 minutes have passed. I still have like many hours of this to do, or you know, things like that. I feel like you're taking a break from like habits that no longer serve you, just things that you've been spending your like energy on, your physical energy, but also your mental and emotional, and you're leaving those things in the past. And it's because you are moving into this new era of your life where you have the power to create. You have the power to like define yourself and the things that you want to do completely on your own terms without looking to other people. And you're very divinely like guided for this. I feel like this is what's happening. Right now is a period where you are basically like figuring out what you want to continue going forward. What do you want to grow in your life? What like, what do you actually want to pursue? Yeah, what do you want to pursue? And what things specifically do you not want to pursue? Like, where do you feel unhappy? Where do you feel unfulfilled? Where do you, like, what relationships do you feel like are draining you or not serving you? Or situations where you, like, maybe go in feeling really good and then you get there and suddenly you're like, down in the dumps again. And you're like putting these things down. And Spirit is watching this and they're saying, okay, well, now that they're putting these things down, what are they picking up? What are they still holding on to that they want to build on? And it's like, basically, like, they're going to help you build on these things, right? Whatever you choose to put your effort into, Spirit is like, okay, like, the universe only knows yes. The universe only yes ands, right? And so they're like watching you during this period of reflection, saying like, okay, well, what are they going to build on? Like, what are we going to be yes anding? And they're saying like, choose what you actually want us to yes and. Choose like what you want to build on, because it will be coming, like the fruits will be coming in the future, right? The future is just the now that we're going to experience in a little bit, right? Like, they will be manifest. So choose to work on the things, choose to build the things that you actually want to grow in your life. Like, if you want a life of ease and relaxation, don't embody this energy of being rushed, of feeling overwhelmed, like, grow the feelings, grow the practices that you want to bear the fruit of. Okay? And it's going to be a hard pill to swallow because, like, it can be kind of, what's the word? Like they go against each other because, like, on one hand, okay, I want to be financially abundant. Okay. Well, I also want to live a life with ease. Well, if you have a job that is extremely stressful for you and is always making you work late nights, or you have to be on call and you're always like on edge, then that life of ease and that life of financial abundance are, seemingly at odds with each other. Like, well, I need this job to make money, but it's also making me, in this situation, I feel really rushed. I don't feel at ease. I don't feel relaxed. I feel very, on edge. And Spirit is saying like, okay, well then drop it. Because what is meant for you is going to be totally meant for you. It's going to be perfect. It's going to be aligned completely. So in these situations where you're like, well, it has one thing, and especially I feel like this manifests on the physical plane, like we get very, very stuck in like the material world, and especially with the Three of Pentacles, that's definitely coming out. So they're saying like, don't focus on the material world. Don't focus on like how it looks in the 3D. Focus on how it feels. If you want a life of ease and you also want financial abundance, then align yourself with the feeling of ease and financial abundance. Put down the things that aren't conducive to both of those. Only pick up the things that are conducive to both, right? That make you feel abundant, that make you feel at ease. And, it can be really scary and tough to walk away from things because we're afraid that new things aren't going to come in. We're afraid that there's not going to be something on the horizon, that there's not going to be a better opportunity out there. It's like that idea of, what if nothing better comes along? Like, I'm getting this idea of like settling, don't settle, because there's always going to be new things that come up, right? Change is the only constant of the universe. Change is the only thing that's real. Everything is always in flux. And when you invite that energy into your life, like oh, let me see how good it can get. Give me a way of making money while I'm also at ease, or while I'm also able to take care of my children, or I'm also able to be creative, or like whatever it is, just open yourself to that and it will come in, right? There needs to be there needs to be space. Gina has been talking about this, which is like, arrive empty and you will be filled. And I think that's so accurate. Another way to say it is like, when one door closes, another one opens. But, something has to leave for something new to come in. And if you're not happy with your situation, then get it out. Kick it out of here. Say, get out of here. I don't want that. Like, thank you for being in my life and for the purpose that you've served and for maybe giving me money or whatever, but I'm done and I'm moving on and I'm entering a new phase of my life where something better is going to come in, and freaking own it, because it is coming in. And I'm being called to say, like, the things that are maybe that you don't like in your life right now, the reason that they're there was because they have been built over a lot of time, right? And like, you can build a life that you love as well. You know, just as concrete as your current circumstances are, these new circumstances that you love and that fulfill you are going to be just as concrete. They're going to be just as real. So don't worry about it. Yeah, 6 of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah, I was getting this idea of like you being very giving of your time. Yeah, you've been very, very giving of your time and of your effort, of your blessings. You could be supporting people financially in some ways. I'm just getting this idea, you're very giving. You're very family or community focused, or just like with your friends. You always meet people where they are. You always want to give. You have a very, very big heart. And part of this, I think, is going to be releasing these relationships that cause you nothing but heartbreak, where you feel like you are giving and not getting anything in return. I kind of feel like this is a little bit separate. Like, this is kind of two things. They're obviously, everything's connected, but you're being asked to stop giving so much. And what that means is like giving to the point where your cup is empty. It's always good to give. It's always good to, you know, meet people as people, like recognize the divinity, recognize that each person is sovereign, is like a human being that deserves, you know, love and care. But I feel like, you know, you're being told that like it doesn't serve you and it doesn't serve them. When you overgive, what you're doing is impeding your own process and progress as well as theirs. We're only meant to give to the point that feels good. Yeah. We're only meant to give to the point of feeling good about it, right? We're not meant to be codependent. We're not meant to give so much that leaves us out, you know, to dry. Because like everything is supposed to be balanced. Everything is supposed to be easy, right? So give while it feels easy. Give when you're inspired to do so. And then put up your boundaries. Put up your boundaries. The Queen of Swords. Yeah, especially like the 3 of Swords into the Queen of Swords. You are releasing, like I feel like there's a lot of like codependency or something here. Like you have someone in your energy, or multiple people, because there's 2. And there's 2 on the 3 of Pentacles too. So you have people coming in, or like who have already been in, excuse me, that are always wanting from you. They're always asking. They're always, either consciously or subconsciously, they're always asking for you to give to them. They're always like suffering. They're always like having some issue, having problems that only you can fix. And it causes you a lot of strife. It causes you a lot of heartbreak, right? A lot of stress. And, you know, as this is also part of like, you don't want to cultivate this in your life. You know, when you're going to this new life, like, you don't want to cultivate codependent relationships. Or, sorry, give me 1 second. So if you're making like, let's say $20K a year, you know, and like you have, you know, people you're supporting. When you start leveling up and like making more money or whatever it is, I'm just using money as an example. You know, let's say you start making like 120K. Well, just as like your money exponentially increased, you know, so will these people that want things from you, you know, without giving back and without, like wanting things from you in a way that doesn't feel good, right? Not like asking for support from someone who is like really close. I'm talking about people who like don't actually do anything, you know, they don't work on themselves, they don't do any type of work like at all, and not like a life of ease or anything like that. I mean, like they're in their own mess basically. I don't really want to get into their energy because it's really heavy. I can feel it. I even just like touching on it, I'm like, I don't want to deal with that. So they're saying like, you know, you're moving to this point where the universe is yes-anding you. And so like end these codependent, because otherwise you're just going to get deeper into codependency. You're just going to further those cycles even further along. You know, these people, like if they're relying on you at this point, then they're just going to be even more reliant on you. They're going to be even more draining. So this is the point where you need to put up boundaries, right? The Queen of Swords, like what is a boundary? You know, she's got one hand beckoning and one hand with the sword. A boundary is just, you know, being open. Like, so remain open to these people, right? The Queen is also, she's the feminine. She is receptive. She is, you know, receiving. She's open. She's ruled by her, like, intuition and her emotions. It's all about, like, feeling. And so they're saying, like, don't close off your heart. Your heart is still open. Your heart is still, you know, one of love and care. But you know, a boundary is like a filtration system. It's saying, it's like, you know, a permeable, semi-permeable membrane, if you're into science. Like some things gets through and some things don't. And so we're saying like, this is the time where you're realizing, well, what things do I actually want in my life and what things do I don't? What things don't I want? You know, like beckon things forward in your life that you have been building, that you've been cultivating, and then decide, do I want this in my life or not? Do I want this to grow? Do I want this to prosper? I don't know what's up with these Coke cans. They're like, okay, well, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, and like cut the things off that you don't want, because that's how you grow the things you do want, right? All of your energy right now is supposed to be going to your goals, to the life that you want to create for yourself. And it's not supposed to be like going into these black holes of codependency, of reliance, of attachment. So yeah, that's what I have for you today. I hope that resonated. You've got a lot of like fortune coming in, a lot of manifestations coming in, and you know, this is like an opportunity for you to, like, when you start into this new phase of your life, to go with such momentum. And like when you actually like just choose the things that you want, your momentum is going to be so freaking fast, because there's not going to be any disruptions. There's not going to be any icky gooey energy that's holding you back. So if you want to move like really fast, you just have to let go, right? Once you're holding on to so much baggage, you want to move faster, drop the freaking baggage. Then you'll slingshot out of here. So anyway, I hope this resonated. Bye.